Today we review the greatest movie of all time.
Maybe second greatest.
So good.
It's a Wonderful Life, starring James Stewart and who else?
Donna Reed,
Lionel
Barrymore, and a cast of others.
A long time since we've done one movie.
We have, yes. This might take a while.
Yeah.
It's Wonderful Life is iconic as one of the greatest Christmas films of all time, if not the greatest Christmas film of all time. But I love it just as a movie itself. The plot. Why don't you give us the plot?
You give us the plot.
I'll give you the plot. Okay. The plot of It's a Wonderful Life is centers around George Bailey, a character in a small town in New York, who just lives a normal life, but he's got big ambitions, wants to kind of conquer the world. But every time he gets a chance to do that, something gets in his way, some sort of obligation, something that ultimately bogs him down or makes him miss those big opportunities. And he reaches a place of in his life where he's very discontent with his current state in life, and he's very upset with what he's become. Now, he's a very selfless man. He puts everyone first, but somehow in his own mind, he wishes he was number one. He wishes he could just get out and do his thing. And that ultimately leads him to suicide. And he reaches the brink of suicide, and God sends down an angel, the famous Clarence, to show him what life would be like if he had never been born. Takes him on a little tour, and he gets to realize just how much value his life has, and just how much he's given to others, and how much his life means. It's very uplifting.
Yeah, it's definitely a story that is uplifting, like you said. The characters are very likable in this movie. Jimmy Stewart, probably, I would say this is probably his best role.
Yeah.
And he's such a likable character from the very beginning. So you kind of fall in love with him, and that's great for the movie because you want a character that you can really get behind. And this is that kind of movie that you really need that in the film.
Yeah, it's 100% like character based. So I mean, the plot is pretty standard stuff. For Christmas movie, it's just like Aaron said, you fall in love with this character as you watch him from childhood to middle to late adulthood. So it takes a special type of actor to pull you into that and keep it entertaining, and he is that actor. It's really his crowning achievement. It's this big role. And
it's probably one of his most famous roles.
For sure.
I would say.
He was nominated for an Oscar. He lost, but he was nominated for this role. So it's a great metaphor for for life itself, but even for salvation, because so many times he reaches the end of himself and he tries to do it on his own, and he's a good guy. But he has to come to a point where he realizes that he needs God, and he needs God to live again, and that's kind of that born again concept. It's probably one of the most Christian movies Hollywood ever put out. And Frank Capra, the director, I believe, was a Christian, and Jimmy Stewart was a Christian as well. And so you can sense their kind of collaborative effort there. It's very, very pro God, very pro Bible. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
It doesn't beat you over the head with religion at all, though.
Right.
Which is good.
But it's profound at the same time.
Right.
Content-wise, it's from 1946. So it's not,
There's nothing terrible in it. There's no language at all. So that, as far as that goes, that's family friendly.
There's some historical smoking.
Yes, historical smoking. That's actually
horror of horrors.
So there's some historical smoking. There's some drinking. People we're probably talking to right now who are watching this review, you've seen this movie.
Sure.
It's family friendly. There are a few things.
A little innuendo, but again, nothing that
1940s.
Yeah.
It's not.
It got by the code officer, so it's excellent. The positive nature of this film is really. I mean, people. I don't like to view it as a Christmas movie. To me, it's puts it into this Hallmarky type genre that's very cliche. And to me, it's actually very dark for a while. I mean, watching a man go to the point of suicide is not a lighthearted task. But dragging him out of those depths is, like I said, a metaphor for what God did for us as Christians, pulling us out of our darkest hour, is important. And I would rather emphasize that than really, it's Christmas Day happens to be the final 24 hours of his life as we're viewing it, like in this movie. But it's not really.
It's not a Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
It just happens to be set at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like The Giver, that's set at Christmas time, but
True.
it's not a Christmas movie.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
The pacing, now, we talked about this before we watched it, and this is my first time that I had seen the movie in its entirety without commercial breaks. Every year they run it on TV, and when they break it apart for commercials, you really feel like the pacing is off. But watching it in its entirety, the pacing is actually really well done throughout the movie.
The directing is not heavy-handed. You know, a lot of old movies were very, dun, 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 very, in-your-face, dramatic. Even when he discovers that he's been removed from the earth, that he's never been born, it's not like this freaky Twilight Zone type moment. It kind of sneaks up on you. It takes him a while to let it sink in. It builds the panic perfectly so it gets to this fever pitch. But you got to go on that journey with him, so you're just as panicked as he is. Yeah, I think movies a lot of times lose something when they put all their cards on the table right away. I think it's smart directing to kind of lead the audience in with you. Performances, like I said, Jimmy Stewart was great. Donna Reed, who plays his wife, is just gorgeous. She's just the perfect support to him. She's a good actress too. She wasn't asked to do a whole lot in the movie, but what she was asked to do, she pulls off. Mr. Potter, the villain.
One of the most hated movie villains of all time.
In fact, I think the American Film Institute did a poll, and he was #1 most hated villain of all time in movie history. Twisted old miser whose sole aim in life is to destroy George Bailey. It's fantastic. Potter never comes to justice.
Right.
He never gets. The movie's very realistic in that there is an uplifting ending, but it's not. It's not such an unrealistic. Yay! Walking off into the sunset and they lived happily ever after. He doesn't get the $8,000 back. No. And I thought that was kind of good directing. I was like, hey, not everything is going to be perfect.
Right. It's not all roses.
No, and it wasn't about the money. It was the line of the film is no man is poor who has friends.
Right.
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. And that's really the message of this movie.
And it's very true. I mean, everything we do impacts someone in some way, and that impacts so many other people. And this movie definitely shows that.
For sure.
Now, something we did disagree on is I thought the acting is really good, but I thought the characters and the acting was just slightly larger than life. That's how I've always taken it, and that's how I took it tonight.
I actually 100% disagree. I think they were very realistic. Like, I was watching, I was like, these are real people. I feel like they just went to a town. It was based in Seneca Falls. I feel like they went to this town and just grabbed a bunch of people and said, hey, let's be in this movie. Because they talk loudly, they talk over each other, their lines are very natural and well placed. Sometimes they might throw a dumb joke and someone else might give them a look like, what was that? Sometimes it's funny. I feel like it wasn't a bunch of... You never feel like you're watching people act.
Right. Yeah, you don't. The script writing is more what you're saying. Is that the script was more realistic.
Sure.
I still feel that the actors just made it slightly larger than life, and it works in the movie. It doesn't take you out.
There's scenes with a lot of yelling. I know what you mean. The thing is, nowadays, a lot of times when you're watching a movie, you're watching people act. Like, you're watching like Denzel Washington, you're watching Meryl Streep, you're like, wow, they're really good at crying. You know what I mean? You can see the wheels turning. When I'm watching It's a Wonderful Life, I'm watching George Bailey, not Jimmy Stewart. I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen to this guy? And I think that's the ultimate goal of an actor.
Right.
To remove your name from it and put your character forth.
And that's when you get the best movie-going experience, is when something in the movie doesn't draw you out of it. I hate movies that do that, where you're like, oh, that was cool, or oh, that was really stupid, or something.
Right.
This movie doesn't have moments like that.
Right.
So
It's evenly just it takes you on a journey, and I love it. Filmmaking quality, I'm going 10 out of 10. The shots, like you said, are never from the director are good. They're high quality, but they're never distracting. Script's great, acting's great. This movie, to me, is 10 out of 10. This is in my opinion, the greatest movie ever made.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I give it an 11. I give it a 12 out of 10. I mean, it is. I can't count how many times I've seen it. My eyes are red right now because I just finished watching it and I cried again. I know every line in the movie. I could probably quote it, but I still cry every time. It's excellent.
For me, as a film, I would give it a 9 out of 10.
That is high for you.
Yeah, that is.
Especially for an old movie.
For an old movie, that's
impressive.
Yeah.
Guys, if it's 9 out of 10 for him, you've got to see it.
Yeah. It's definitely worth watching at least once. And most people have seen it at least once. On
that note, not to interrupt you,
yeah.
Everyone that's watched this review will say, "Oh yeah, I saw that years ago." Watch it again. Like sit down, not on television. Get the Blu-ray. Watch it in color or black and white. It's actually good as both.
It was good in color.
Yeah, we saw it in color tonight, and it's very natural. It's not like that orangey color that you get in a lot of colors. Watch it again from the beginning and try and see it in new eyes, not just as a Christmas movie. You'll get a different experience.
So, as a film, 9 out of 10. For enjoyability factor, now this is going to be low.
Uh-oh.
Like a 6 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's so rewatchable, though. I mean, they literally play it every year on TV like 50 million times.
True, but it's just not my thing.
I get it. It's not necessarily, it has to be your taste, but yeah. We should go to the festival.
Yeah, that would be fun.
They have a Seneca Falls. It's a Wonderful Life festival.
I'm surprised you haven't yet.
I know. I really should. The surviving actors come and stuff. I'd probably faint and no, I wouldn't do that. Speaking of acting, the chemistry between Clarence, the angel, and George Bailey is really good. Like as soon as the actors are on screen together, you could tell they just clicked.
Yeah.
There's a scene where they're sitting together on bar stools, kind of contemplating, and it's the back and forth dialogue is so natural, and you can tell they're having a ball with it. It's really good.
I would say check it out. If you haven't, most people have. And if you have, watch it again.
Yeah, do yourself a favor and watch it again through new eyes, and try and view it as a movie and not just a Christmas movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Even though we're reviewing it for Christmas time.
Right. Because then you'll watch it and you'll like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be the next Rhett and Link.
I didn't get that reference.
Good Mythical Morning. It's like the number
Still
one show on YouTube. It's great. We should review that show. Anyway, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. 100%. Best movie ever made.
Second best.
Best movie ever made, and don't let anyone tell you any different.
Second best movie.
What's the best?
The Giver.
No. I mean, Giver's excellent. But no, it's Wonderful.
Agree to disagree.
Mic drop.
Okay, so those are our thoughts. Thanks for watching. Comment below on what's your favorite movie or your favorite Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. And your thoughts if you've seen this movie and you just want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching. I'm Aaron.
I'm Jonathan.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See you next time. Wait. If you don't like this movie, don't come shoot us.
Yeah.
We can now shoot back.
Yep.
This is, you should give a tour of the whole house studio.
I did.
He's heavily armed. Very heavily armed in this room.
Yeah. Yeah, don't mess with me.
Yeah.
You'll regret it.
That's right. He's your worst nightmare.
Okay.